Hi guys, this is part 2. So I ended off with saying that the Holy Spirit has been talking to me, right? And he answered me. So this is what the Holy Spirit has been telling me. You know, like, each and every one of us as Christians struggle with sin, and a lot of people think that we are perfect. That is not the case. And I'm sure you guys have the same question that I just told you about now. But you know, whatever sin that comes to your mind right now, when I say struggle with sin, whether it be lust, whether it be pornography, whether it be masturbation, whether it be sexual immorality, all of those sins need to leave once you get in God's presence. In fact, they are going to leave once you get in God's presence, right? Why do I say this? Because God's presence is a divine protection. It is abiding in Him. It is not just knowing Him. And so many of us as Christians don't take the Lord's presence as seriously as we should. And we get distracted, and the enemy uses things to distract us in our daily lives. But now, here's what the Holy Spirit told me from this verse. Hey, you cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live. That also means that no man can come into my presence and stay the same. No man can come into my presence and stay the same. You cannot leave the same way that you came. So all those sins that you know, as Christians, that we walk with, whatever it may be, once you come into God's presence, once you really come into God's presence, those sins are always going to be there, but it is not going to be something that you really wrestle with. It's not going to be something that you really grapple with. Yes, we all sin. We all sin and we need to be forgiven. But once you come into God's presence, you will never leave the same, ever. Because when you think about it like this, once you come into the presence of God, you are not going to run back to masturbation. You are not going to run back to pornography. The presence of God cannot be taken lightly. It cannot be taken lightly. It is out of this world. It is out of this world, honestly. So I would encourage you all, as my brothers and sisters, to soak up the Lord's presence and to go to part 3, where I link all this up to Lucifer being prideful in heaven and having these thoughts, having these sinful